Hey, all right, we are back after like what, 3 years? Man, it's been a wild ride. I can sure as hell tell you that. Um, but the thing is, like, I know that right now is the time for me to come back to Patreon. Like, there's never been a better time for me to do this, and there's a very specific reason for this. It's not just like a haphazardly. It might be. It might be. It might be extremely haphazard right now, and you might, have to be careful. Probably not, though. See, the thing is, I've been creating parts for the past 3 years now, and to be honest, actually, it's been like most of the things you see right here have been built. I would say in the last 6 months or something. Um, but obviously, there's some carryover from older parts and everything. And the ones you see in this white square or this white rectangle are the parts that I already corrected. Some of these have been done automatically using quad remeshers. Some of them have been done completely by hand, like I think this one, for instance. No, this is a quad remeshed one. But there's some parts that have actually been done by hand, and some parts just get like the super simple Control T triangulate option when it's like a smaller part. But just so you know, to keep the topology somewhat responsible. Now, it's not like a edge flow beauty contest. So sorry, guys, if that's what you're here for. You might want to go and look for someone that caters to a different fetish. Um, I think I moved my floor. Let's bring that down. There you go. There you go. So we've got all of these parts that are corrected, and we are basically like where we're at right now is there's still some parts missing. There's still actually quite some parts missing, but most of them can be built from things you see right here. And I think this is like the point where you'll see the curve go from like this to this to shooting upwards. And I think this is the time to go, man. I think this is the time to go. So to let you in on a few planning secrets, basically the idea is to finish the first truck, which you'll see in like a broken down version right here. Bloop. Why is it not bloop? Ah, there you go. Which is this guy. Obviously, there's parts stripped from it, but you know this guy by now. But the thing is that we're also delivering a second truck that will be like a little bit more generic instead of having this super standing out feature like the grenade bumper thing. Um, so that's the kind of things that I want to build with you guys together here on Patreon, because there's still quite some stuff to build, but it will go relatively quickly. And I think that can be very exciting to capture that sort of in a video form and explain you guys what I'm doing and what I'm thinking about. And I just realized why I moved my floor. This is annoying, but I'm just gonna drag this thing down. There you go. Don't bring me down. There you go. Okay, and so this is a chassis from that previous truck. There's some parts missing. Um, and I think I might rework this for the second truck, or build a new one altogether from existing parts. But just for now, just so that we have something to work with, I'm just gonna grab this guy and continue with that one. Um, and I already know we're gonna do like a. Let me show you the references I got for this guy. So I pulled some images from Pinterest, and I poured them in a PureRef file. And just like in previous sessions, guys, like don't have 100 reference images for one vehicle. It's like, if you need advice, you're not gonna ask 100 different people, right? You're gonna ask the right people. See, these are my right people. It's kind of sad, isn't it? My right people. Nah, it isn't. Fuck it. So an important thing to sort of grasp is, well, there's two things. For me, the main thing that I want to focus on right now, at least, is just to make sure that I don't want this guy to be too big. Because I've did some pretty giant trucks in the past. I don't want this guy to become that large as well. So I'm gonna keep a good eye on the scale thing. And also, it has to be a bit more generic than the previous truck so that people can actually use the cockpit parts and everything. And today, that's exactly what we're going to focus on. We are going to try and finish. God damn it, me and my promises, right? We're going to try and finish a cockpit using the parts I already have and some parts that we'll rebuild and a few things that I'll have to build from scratch, but they should go relatively quickly. And we're gonna use this chassis just that we have something to work on, basically. And I'll break down the plans for this cockpit in just a second, but just to give you an idea. All right, so we've got like a scale reference, and just to make sure that we don't mess up the whole scale thing on this cockpit, I'm just gonna do the floaty guy thingy trick. You know, where you take, well, in this case, it's a girl, where you basically take a person that's already in the right position and you make sure that it goes into the right part of the vehicle so that you actually know that your scale is right. So I've got my floaty girl. See, this chassis is already pretty fucking giant, but I think for now we can sort of pull this off. But the ground clearance is a bit ridiculous, but you know. So one of the things that I want to keep in mind before, you know, this is kind of like the boring stuff, you know, where we need to make sure that the scale is kind of on point. And one of the things I really love on these trucks is the giant overhang of this cabin. And now the reason why they do this, by the way, is just to keep the overall height of the vehicle lower. You know, the higher a vehicle is, the more vulnerable it becomes, and blah, blah, blah. So if you make sure that the cockpit where the actual people have to sit in, if it can be lowered, so which basically means that it's not sitting on the main support beams of the chassis, well, it's attached to it, obviously, but it's not sitting right on top of it, then basically you get to lower the cabin and then the truck can be lower. So that's like the sort of thing I want to focus on. So let's take our floaty guys. Let's see if I'm actually recording. Hey, we are. Awesome. Awesome. So let's take our pilots. And I want to have like a relatively realistic vehicle width as well, because this is like, what's that, like, I think 4 meters? Like if we, yeah. Even more, like that's going towards 5 meters, which can be really cool, but that's not what we're going for. But never mind that for now. Hell, you know what, we can even just take these tires and push them inwards, and they'll intersect with some parts from the chassis, but don't you worry about that. We got this, okay? So another thing that I want to do, and I think we can go out of rendered view as well, that might be a little easier on the good old computer. See, the silly floaty guy trick, or girl. I think they'll be right here. Perhaps it can be like a little bit wider. Yeah. All right, so now the thing we'll do right now, and there's a couple of scale things to figure out, and there's a couple of design things to figure out as well. So I kind of want to go for like this split cockpit type of thing where you have 2 different pilots on 2 different sides. And we'll try to also build it in such a way that I can make a regular cockpit out of it, where you don't have like that split view. But for now, let's do the split view thing. Let's get rid of this guy as well. And I hope you guys are okay with me keeping this like in a real-time video format, just like, you know, Fangzhou. The thing is, it's a lot easier for me since I don't have to edit too much, and I think you guys also like you see enough fast-paced content on social media, right? I don't think you guys need like another 30-second video because you don't actually learn that much from it, do you? And so what we're doing right now, because we got all these parts, we somehow are we're somehow gonna try and make a cockpit out of this. What I've tried in the past is where you just start to drag parts into place, and while that might work sometimes, in a lot of cases that backfires pretty damn hard. And I think the reason for it is because you're actually like, you don't have any shapes down yet. And the thing is, and we'll talk about this deeper in just a second, the thing is, the initial shapes of your vehicle is basically what hammers it home. And that boils back down to the idea of the silhouette, and that boils down also to like the read that your vehicle will get. And the thing is, like, what you need to understand, and I think I really need to go into a deeper video about this someday. You need to understand how your audience will perceive your design, right? See, like how your brain works in relatively simple terms. And that's the only thing I know. Like I say this as though I have like deeper brain knowledge, which I do not. This is art, at least. Like, might not make you a science major, but at least you understand what a viewer does. So a viewer will look at your vehicle, and the first part of his brain or her brain that will process whatever she's looking at is your reptilian brain. And that's the oldest part of your brain. And that's basically like the part of your brain that's responsible for your visceral reaction. That's a part of your brain that you don't really have control over. And it just sort of reacts to things. And that's pretty much connected to your survival mechanism. And what happens is you got like a split second, like it's a lot less than 1 second. I don't remember exactly how much it is, and that's not important, I think, at least. But anyways, so that part of your brain processes the vehicle sort of as a survival thing. And at that point, it will decide all of these instinctive factors to it. Like, is it dangerous? Is it heavy? Is it fast? Is it coming at me? Does it have malintention? Is it healthy? Is it sick? Whatever. Like, sort of, it tries to assess the situation, and it does that in a very, very quick manner. And this happens through the initial shapes and lines of your vehicle. And like I said, we'll go deeper into that. But this visceral reaction, that's not a good pronunciation. This visceral reaction that you have to that thing, that's what sort of drags you in. Like, if you miss that window, like if you look at it and it kind of bores you, or you don't have like this reaction to it, you're fucked. As a designer, you're fucked, and all of these really cool functional details will be lost on about 90% of the people. They will just click away, and then you got like this niche group of people, but you sort of want to have the masses go like, oh. And I don't know why, but the reason why is basically because you are evoking things that connect directly to that more primitive part of your brain. So we are just gonna focus on the initial shapes first, and we're gonna do like this dumb, boxy blockout, so we can actually make sure that the people fit inside. We can make sure that the thing is not giant for no reason. We can make sure there's not too much lost space inside, and we can make sure that all the shapes sort of work. See, the thing is, like, I really like the proportions on this. There's another image that I forgot to drag in there. I'll do that in just a second. And I really like this overhang, and I kind of want to keep it realistic, but I also want to keep something in mind that you must never forget about anything you're doing in concept design is basically everything is a character. Okay, so this is not a vehicle. Well, it is a vehicle, but first and foremost, for your reptilian brain, this thing is a character, and that character needs to sell, right? And so these designs are purely functional. They're not designed to look a certain way. They're designed to function, and they look the way they do because of the function that they execute. I kind of want to divert away from that just a little, and I still want to sell a character. So I'll come back to that later. But just so you guys know, I think what I already want to make sure that we do, and I'm just gonna do a very simple boxy block in, and then we can start to sort of see how many parts we can replace. And this is like the thing. This is the part where you need to slow down, guys. This is the part that everybody wants to skip because you just want to start hammering away kit bash parts, and then there's not really any design intent behind it. There's no character designed to it, and before you know it, you're just throwing around kit bash parts, and you're just adding details and more details and more details, to a point where you kind of like not really know where you're aiming for, and it's just soup. No, it's not soup. It's riff salad. Have you guys heard of riff salad? It's like a musical term, basically. Well, it's this kind of term that's used in rock music, where riff salad basically just means that you can kind of hear that the guitarist is just jerking off on his own technical ability, but there's not really any structure to it. There's not really any songwriting to it anymore, except for just like technical notes. That's what you get with concept art too, where there's not enough intent behind it, where you're not really sure about what the character is supposed to do. I think this is a good scale too, by the way. It's not too big. And like it kind of works. And I just need to make sure that I know where we're at. And see, like the split cockpit thing has like this dimple in the middle, which creates this awesome read as well. And we'll get deeper into the read, into the visceral read, in just a second. But that dimple basically is there to rest a load in between, usually a giant fucking rocket, which is pretty cool in itself. Well, no, it's terrifying as fuck, but it's cool in terms of concept art, right? So, and I have some plans for the visceral character of this thing as well. Because like don't forget that is basically the most important thing that you really really want to hammer home. Now, basically what I'm doing right now is defining the angle of approach. And the angle of approach is basically what will define the maximum height that a vehicle can drive over without bumping into shit. I'm sure there's a fancy term for that, but that's basically what they're trying to say, It's like angle of approach. It's like how high before bump into shit. That's it. That's all there is to it. And let's just go and also copy that angle of approach thing in here. And then I also know that there's usually also some boxed in parts that kind of hold engine parts and whatnot. That's actually not that important for now, what they exactly do. And I know that sounds weird coming from me, like guys who have been following me for a longer time know that I'm like, no, we must have the function. And that is still true. Don't get me wrong. But for now, that's not as important as it seems just yet. Because we really want to hammer home that visceral thing first. Because, guys, the concept art scene is so incredibly bloated right now. And it's just overflowing and it's saturated. And the last thing you kind of want to do is spew out another thing, another vehicle, another hard surface, highly detailed design that has no visceral character to it, or hardly any. Hardly any is not a good place to be in as well, in case that isn't clear. You know what I mean? Like, you don't kinda want to have a character in it. You want to be sure about the character that's in it. Let's get these. Where are my pilot guys? Oh, there they are. See, the thing like that I'm kind of thinking about. Let's just add. Let's just add a simple shader to it. And we'll do the no edgeware version because there's no bevel to it. By the way, normally these will not be the final textures of this kit. If you will actually buy the kit when it's done. But these are just to help me out, you know. So, you know, I kind of already like the basic proportions to it, and I'm thinking if we should also drag this down. Oh, we've got quite some space before the pilot actually pops out. That's pretty cool. Let's go out of rendered view. So, yeah, that's actually pretty good. There's plenty of space. Like, hypothetically speaking, I don't think I will actually do the interior, but hypothetically speaking, there's plenty of space for the pilot, you know? So that's good. I like that. I think we can actually move this in. No, I think that's fine. For now, that's perfectly fine. See, and I kind of like what this thing is doing. And I was actually hoping to see if we can flatten this part out a little bit more to like really get a horizontal character to it. Or even, let's just try out if we add oh, I think I know. See, the thing what I was kind of going for, because you have like these big fat grills in the front, right? And that's almost like a mouth, like a that's not that's not like an angry mouth, but that's also definitely not a happy mouth either, right? So I was thinking, you know, like what if you almost get like this mouthy character to it. And let's see how far we can drag this thing up even more. Yeah. And then what if let's copy the material for now. And this will look a bit clumsy with these blocked in parts, but we'll start to replace them by actually detailed parts in just a second. But you'll see, like, the more time, or let's say the more thought you put into this, like, the easier it will go to move beyond this and to actually use kit bash parts in your advantage instead of like sort of being a slave to them, which is just a horrible place to be in, you know. Yeah, I think that will kind of work. I think we need to get this one up a little bit more so I can actually fit a window in there. Now, it's not that I can't fit like a small window in there. I could, but I want to create a cockpit unit that's like a little bit more generic. So we got this thing going now. And we might need like like an angle that does like this. Yeah. Yeah, that will work, I think. You know what? I am just gonna take, because at this point it's just a top plane. I mean, it's not a box anymore. It's just a top plane, and that top plane is sort of dictating the direction of this whole upper part. So I am wondering if we can drag this down. Get this down a little bit more. And I don't think, see, the thing is, I'm thinking about character right now, and I kind of got like this idea, you know, where obviously there's a face to it, and we already have like these teeth, like this ghoulish. Does that make sense? When I do like the, I don't mean like an Arnold impression, although it might sound like that a little bit. But I just mean like it's not happy. It's not feeling well. Like it's been. You know what? You know what? I know what I want. See, like the thing is, I want this thing, like the vehicle, the character in this vehicle. I want it to basically look like it's been through fucking Chernobyl deep radiation zone. Like its face is melting. You know what I mean? Like it's an agony. And obviously, I don't want to do that by adding super high levels of destruction to it. But I kind of want to see if I can continue this melting kind of thing to it, and I think we might be able to pull that off by creating more verticality to this element. I know we said I know I said horizontalness, but I get to choose. I get to pull the strings on this. So, um, yeah, I think that might work. So, like, what if? Hold on. What if we would also have? I don't know. Like sometimes you see these heavy ass cables, these heavy ass chains with like some kind of cast iron ball or something attached to it, usually to deflect shrapnel from mines. And I think that can look like pretty cool because I don't want it to look silly. You know what I mean? You don't want to be like, haha, it's like a melting vehicle. You kind of still want to be smart-ish about it. And I even think like perhaps we want to heighten that melting factor by even, because this is drooping down. What if this droops down as well? To like a point where it's like does that make sense? The thing is, I'm pretty sure it actually does, you know, because sometimes words are not my strongest thing, but I can sure as hell make sounds, you know. Yeah. Yeah, I think that can actually work. But something's bothering me. And I know that this beveled edge is gonna give me problems later down the road. And what I mean by that is basically this window is fine. This is pretty easy because the bevel is on the flat side of the window. But right here, like a curved window, mm-mm. Mm-mm. We're not doing that. But we might get to curve it in such a way that this part is flat, you know, so we can actually fit a window in there. And I think, yeah, I think this might be a good place to actually start. See, the thing is, I want to be deliberate about what I'm going for, and in this case, it's like Chernobyl face melting. I'm melting. But I also don't want to treat this as though I'm building like the last cockpit I'll ever build, because I'll get nervous, and you know that doesn't really work all that well. See, the only problem right now is that this thing doesn't actually have a bumper. So I might want to, you know, come back. Maybe there's like a cable hanging as well. There's like stuff drooping from it. That's like the main thing that we're shooting for, is droopiness. So let's just see, what if we have like this normal human bumper. I don't mean like a gas siren grenade shrapnel bumper like the previous truck, but I mean more like this. Oh, that's terrible. Let's add a bevel to it. Like an actual normal human bumper element to it. The only thing, like, why I don't know if I like this is because it's like kind of taking away from that verticalness. I don't know. Now is the time to move around stuff, you know. No, this doesn't make any sense because basically the engine is in between. We can't go that low. There's gonna be like a big fat engine. That wasn't an engine sound, was it? Basically, there's gonna be a big fat engine in there. And I think I actually want to simplify that a little more. Yeah. Yeah. And I think we're also going to add like a vertical reinforcement line through it to reinforce the droopiness of the thing, you know? So that's actually pretty solid for me to start working on. Hold on. There's gonna have to be like a plate underneath, because right now it's open and obviously you can't have that. So just for now, let's just take this guy, Shift D it, and then Control M it, and Control M it on the vertical axis, just so we can actually close this thing back off. Yeah. Yeah, that will work. That will definitely work. And just for ambient occlusion's sake, nah, fuck it. Don't matter. So what I'll do right now is I'll actually make sure that I can't accidentally select the chassis. And I'm gonna move this into like a newer collection. Let's call this cockpit 02. Nah, that's not a good name, isn't it? Let's call it like Droopy. No, that's kind of silly. Nah, fuck it. Droopy. Droopy cockpit. And then I'll once again create a new collection, call it Blockout. Move that into the collection. And so now I actually have a base to work on, you know. I know what parts I'm looking for. That's the thing. That's what you need to be sure of when you're git bashing, because you'll get lost in this. You'll get lost in every git bash library if you don't know what you're looking for, you know? So see, the thing is, what I want to know now is like, what panels do I need? Because I've got quite some. And also over here, what I've got is, because all of those parts over there have a thickness to it, but these don't. Like, these are just singular planes with corrected topology that you can play around with as well. So stuff like this and like this, super handy. These will allow me to build new parts quick. That's what I mean. So let's get these over. Because I think there's something to it. Basically, the exercise right now for me is just, I want to get rid of this blockout as quickly as possible. So for instance, I think this guy can become our side panel. And I think the thing we can do is basically that we have will there be a second pylon in here? Usually there is, isn't there? Yeah, so I might need to move things. Hold on. Let's get our scale crew. Oh, we already have a scale crew, right? Do we? Do we still have it? No. No, we don't. All right, so I just quickly want to make sure that we drag this out a little bit. See, I think if we make sure the angle of approach is not that extreme, then we can actually take our scale guys, push them forward just a little bit, like this. And then also take these guys, push them forward, and I'll make just ever so slightly a little bit more space for that second door to fit in. Yeah, that's it. That's gonna be a cool cockpit, I think. So block the scale guy, block the block out, block the block out. The more I think about it, like, the more I think that this side panel actually doesn't have to be that complex. But we're also talking about having this vertical line in it, right? Which I still think is a very good idea. Hold on. Is there still... Ah, brilliant. See, I've tried this out where you make these quick variations, and I'm super happy that previous me forgot to apply the solidify on this. So I think we can actually try and see if we can make this side, this, and this from like this droopy perspective. I think we can pull that off. So I don't need these parts for now. Let's just move them up. Let's move them up. Let's move these up. And just get rid of the parent for now. Alt P. Clear parent and keep transformation. There you go. I want to be mindful about the scale of this droopy thing too. And I just need half. I don't need the other one. So I'm gonna get rid of this. Shoo! Oh, hold on, just the faces. Yeah. Oh yeah, I have the structural frame underneath it as well. See, I don't think we're gonna use that. That's just gonna make this thing ever more so complex, you know? Yeah, I think this will actually work. So what we'll do right now is, like, I don't need this bevel. So I'm just gonna dissolve these edges and the thing is, I don't need droopy lines everywhere, so I think it's actually a good part to just extend this over so that there's some rest for your eyeballs left in this thing, you know? Let's drag this out. And then we can still add an extra edge loop over here. And I'll worry about the exact topology later. I'm not going to bore you guys with that for now. I just want to make sure that I can properly follow the shape now. That's all. Let's do it in like a Bob Ross way. Then we take the happy trees. And we fucking melt them with Chernobyl radiation. Now, it's not like I keep referring to Chernobyl, but it's basically like I want to sort of imprint like that sickly feeling. You know that this guy is like probably shooting out big rockets or spraying some kind of chemical, or you know, it's like it's not nice. It's definitely not nice. Rotate. Something went wrong. Ah, of course. 0 90 degrees. Let's see how far in are we. It's like 42 minutes. That's pretty good, actually, because it might seem like we're far away from like an actual cockpit. But the thing is that we actually took our time to lay out proper groundworks for this. And proper groundworks also doesn't mean that you have to like think about your blockout for 3 days while you're looking out like a rainy window, contemplating life. It can be, obviously, but it doesn't have to be. See, there's some wonkiness to it. I'm just thinking if I need to correct this wonkiness in these ribs right now, or if I'll leave it because I'm still gonna transform, but I actually think it makes sense for me to do it right now. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. See, this is like the point where I'm gonna start going downwards with this angle. But I'm kind of not happy about the amount of ribs that I have because I sort of want to extend it forward. So I'm actually thinking right now what to do. Like, am I? Let's first of all give ourselves a little bit more space. Move this guy. Cheers, man. Woo! It's like, oh, it's like moonwalking out of here. So let's take this thing. Let's create a little bit more space because I think I might actually get rid of this and then take this, all of the faces, and then actually copy that and see if we can connect this. See, like when you're working with mesh, especially if you build the thing yourself, like there's no limit to how you can use your stuff. Like destroy it down, manipulate it on like a vertice level, if that makes sense. Like you don't have to fix this all in like super complex modifiers or something. Let's just see if I can start to how am I going to be able to move this down? Oh, super simple apparently. Thought it was gonna be very complex, but I just need to move this one down and then I've got plenty of space. And let's like get it moving like somewhere. Let's let this curve start like somewhere in the middle, so that's not at a very awkward stage either. Like this. Downwards, boys. Yes. Yes. It's alive. So right now what I'm gonna do is I am actually just getting ready for a bridge edge loops. Let's fill this guy up and do the same thing, bridge edge loops. And then the only thing we need to do right now, should these be perfectly straight? For the edge flow police, yes. For you? I don't know, man. No, I seriously don't know. And I don't care, actually. Like quads, like at some point I have to stop, right? Like with the noodling. Let's get these guys. And I just want to get this right. You know, I just want to make sure that the angles are right and everything. Right now, I'm not going to use a Boolean either. I'm just going to take the knife tool and press C so that it actually cuts through. Makes sense, the shortcut, right? Cut through. Yeah, let's add a C for that. But anyways, so now I can actually just get rid of all of these faces. And then you have your perfectly cut angle. See, and the thing is as well, like this creates a little bit more believability in parts. Because what you see often is like when people start git bashing, and especially with vehicles for some reason, people just start to kind of mash just plates together, you know, and they're all connected in the corners. You know what I mean? It's all like you've got two plates and then there's connected in the corners and then two plates. And the thing is that might work sometimes, you know. It's not that there's anything inherently wrong using that method. It's just that it lacks this depth that you can add by being conscious about the amount of parts that you're adding and how they're connected and how stuff perhaps can be bundled into one bigger part, or there's just so much depth that's lacking if you don't do this, you know? I guess it adds a little bit of maturity to your design. And at least that means that there's a sense of maturity somewhere. It's like I lately realized that there's still like some instances where I think I have to look for an adult. You know what I mean? Where you're like, Ah, this is pretty shitty. I should contact an adult. And then you go like, oh, wait a minute. I am an adult. But wait, huh. Do you guys resonate with that? Like, let me know. Let me know because I'm actually really curious about that. Let's just first of all get rid of these. These are a bit awkward. All this is like not fun, and I could save this for later, but I kind of wanna show you guys the actual process behind creating parts for this BMS pack. In the hopes, you know, that you guys actually learn something or pick something up from this. See, I'm kind of in a pickle right now because there's gonna be a side window. There's gonna be doors and side windows, but we have these ribs that sort of push over, which kind of make me doubt my previous decision. So, and there's like no way for me to push these up. Hold on though, I think I have an idea, which is a little bit more complex, but bear with me, okay? So this is good. We can use this. Let's mirror this. Oh, it's actually not at the center. Kind of want to make sure that things are at the center though, so let's make sure I can cursor to select it so we have the actual center. Yeah, that's good. And then it's gonna shoot backwards now, but don't worry. Aha, so actually the whole middle of this thing is cubed. So you know what? I'm not gonna do this way. I am just gonna make sure that I select the block out. And then move that along to wherever it kind of starts to make sense in terms of this vehicle. And then I'll move that over. Oh, that's still pretty wonky, isn't it? Let's do cursor to selected in this thing, and then selection to cursor. So now this should be similar. Yeah, there you go. And now I can move this one inwards. Move it backwards just a little. Yeah. Yeah, okay, that will work. And then we got like this center guy, and now we can choose like, do we want it to like continue the same ribs, or do we want to use a different profile? Like this could work. I actually think that could work. But I don't need the entire thing. I just need like a center section for this. P. Separate for selection. And then let's also get that over there. Set the geometry to origin. Rotate. Oh no, it should actually be rotated that way, yeah. But that doesn't make sense. No, I think that could work actually to have them run in different directions. Because it's radically different, you know? I think that can work. So let's scale that down. And now we do the same thing. See, that's what I like about these parts that are already profiled, you know, because in general, especially with like utilitarian vehicles, parts are not flat. You know what I mean? Like they're not, unless you got like 5 centimeters thick steel armor, like that can be flat. There's no twisting and bending that's gonna happen. But the reason why they add like these depth profiles to it is because basically you introduce another angle to it, and that other angle sort of prevents the part from twisting and from bending. And it's like the paper. I did that trick like on the Patreon video years ago, where you Snow. Hold on. Got some paper over here. So the idea is basically that if you have a piece of paper, and you hold it, like sheet metal, it bends. But as soon as you add this groove to it, let's do some intro level origami. Let's try to not accidentally roll a joint here. There you go. So if you add like this depth groove to it, right? All of a sudden this part is not droopy anymore. It's actually staying upright pretty firmly. And that ridge prevents that from twisting. So that's what's happening. All right, that's good. So actually for this back part, I don't think we're gonna use the same profile. The reason for that is basically we'll add some shape variation to it, and we're gonna make sure that we can actually use this box for different parts again. So it's all gonna be really fun and hunky-dory. Let's grab these. And let's move them inwards. Yeah. And we'll go into rendered view in just a second so we can already kind of see where this is going. But I think it's actually pretty cool. And working this way also helps you to actually like realize that all of these vehicles, like they're not made from solid chunks of metal with some stuff booleaned out of it. Like I've talked about the boolean issue a lot in the past. But let me like rephrase that again. It's basically like stuff, especially like at a certain scale, like a vehicle of this scale, for instance. There's no way that they're gonna cut this entire cockpit out of like one giant chunk of metal and that they're just gonna extrude out all of these shapes like with a CNC machine. There's no way. There's just no way. So if you approach it in this way and you actually work with plates, that kind of helps you to already get in the right mindset of working with panels. And obviously in the real world, there's going to be structure underneath it. We're not going to do that because I don't think people will need that in this kit. I think people will need it to have vehicle exteriors executed. Let's move in this scale lady like this. Let's see where we're at. Yeah. Let's actually take the sun lamp. Where is it? I make sure we sidelight this thing a little bit more because I actually I want to see some more variety to it. Yeah. Hold on, let's do that from the front actually. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so let's see what we can do for these front parts for now. See, and what I'm doing right now is like I'm eating my vegetables before I'm gonna eat dessert. And dessert is basically slapping all of these tiny, teeny parts on it. But right now, I need a front-ended, man. I need a good front end. It is what it is, guys. It is what it is. Let me see. Yeah, let's just shift G, select children, and select the parent. Let's alt copy this, alt D. Now I am gonna adjust parts, but by the time I reach that point, I can just do like a manual. Make a single user out of it, you know? Do I want things to come outward like the other truck? I think that could actually work. Let's try it. Like this is, I didn't plan it to actually do it this way. Yeah. No, you know what? Let's take this part and let's take this one and this one because I still really like it. I don't know if I want to use it that directly because this is in the exact same front part of the other truck as well. Let's Alt P, clear parent, and keep the transformation. Let's make this into a single user object so that it's actually not connected to the other one anymore because we're gonna change the out of it. See, like I don't like this. This has to be straight, you know? So let's get rid of these faces because this is gonna be all grill. That's like what does my truck and mumble rappers have in common? It's like it's all grills. It's a good thing that my livelihood does not depend on making jokes, so because that would not end well. Get rid of this guy. See, like this. I like that there's like this little cutout, but at this point it's not little anymore. I mean, like this lady could stick her face out of this little pocket, so I don't think that's where we want to be right now. So let's kind of close that gap in as far as we can. And this could have been done like quicker and easier, but I really want to stay sensible with the topology right now because you know everything basically like everything that I mess up right now I have to correct later. And obviously there's some parts to it that are way too boring to fix right now. And I don't want this very big. This is too much, you know? Like let's get rid of some of the. Yeah, that's better. And then mark this. Let's move it over a little bit more. I don't know if I'm actually gonna keep this part too, by the way, because again, this is like on the direct same position in the other vehicle, but perhaps that ties them together. Like I'm not sure about that yet, but you need like we need variation. It's a kit bash set, you know what I mean? Like people buy this thing to have variation, so I kind of need to keep that in the back of my mind as well. And I like this edge, but I don't like the droopiness. I don't like the. No, I need droopiness. That's a problem. I need droopiness, but I don't have droopiness. So what if I just get rid of this? Basically, I get rid of all of these faces right before it starts to go up. Delete. No, just delete the faces. Yeah. This one as well. And what if we just take this? The bottom as well. And then we copy that and mirror it and see if we can kind of connect that to the upper part, if that makes sense. Control M on the x-axis. And I think we can actually get rid of this hole. This whole hole can go. The whole hole. Let's make sure that actually aligns somewhat-ish. And at this point, I'll just go into like isolated view, because this is cool. You know what I mean? Like, this is gonna be a new part, so it can actually pay off to do this just properly. Make sure it aligns ish. See, like these need to all come down. The same goes with this. And why? I don't understand why is Shift N. There you go. No, just this one. Shift N. There you go. Now it was actually turned the normal sort turned the other way, which also means that the solidify turns the other way, which kind of can turn it out. Which kind of turns out that it fucks with the thickness of materials in certain areas, so it looks a lot different. And I think I'm going to take a quick break in a few minutes. There's like a little topology work to be done. Let's just fill this up entirely first. Because also, like, keep in mind, this is not an attempt for me to create like the perfect topology. Oh, this is some Escher stuff right here. God damn it. God damn it. Yeah, let's get rid of this. And then let's get rid of this. Well, oh no, not let's get rid of this. Let's basically select all of these faces. All of them, and then flatten them out again with the with loop tools. Yeah, that will work. That will work. And it's also just up until this angle, right? Because we sloped that down. And I'm telling you guys, like, the more care you put in this part, where you like actually align these vertices right, the better it will go later on. And the more fun you'll have, like, slapping on all of those juicy parts, you know? You need to earn the juicy parts. What actually went wrong over here? So this can be, I know. It's actually not connected anymore. Now these look weird, I think. Huh? Did we not just... Okay, guys, that's how I know it's getting time to take a quick break. Let's just make sure that this part is like kind of finished. Yeah, there we go. There we go. I'm not sure if I want these sticking out that far. It looks kind of weird. But at the same time, it might work. So I'm like kind of keeping that open for now. Still think this is too much though. Like, can I get rid of this one? think I can actually. No, just leave it. Hold on. Let's just select these. Like, I might do like a lazy fix in a second. With the lazy fix, I basically mean that I'm just gonna use a different part to add. I know, I know. I don't want this thing to stick out the way it's sticking out right now. That's basically like just a remnant still from that previous truck. So what I'm gonna do is actually, I think I'm gonna get rid of all of these. And then I have a little bit more control over what happens over here as well. So let's just drag this up. See now it actually has to align. I think I just need to get rid of this curve. Honestly. Getting to a point also where I'm questioning myself. Like, did I actually have to start with this part? Because we're actually changing a lot. That was not directly part of the plan, but this does give you guys like an idea of how my process actually goes. And I'll worry about this little bit of topology later, don't worry. But I actually think this is good. I think we can use that to add something. Because you kind of want to have like a layered effect to your design. So that you can kind of get the impression that there's parts covering over each other, you know, and like sort of like burying each other and popping out at certain points again. And that's usually what you want to try and aim for. So now, actually, like, I don't have to be too worried to make it fit to my block in. I think I have to be more worried about how it actually translates to the ribbed guy over there. And the ribbed guy over there also needs this right now. Is it time to add a little bevel to it? A little bit of bevel. Add a little bit of bevel to it. There you go. And for now, let's just create a lazy triangle. Ah! 3D modelers freaking out everywhere. Sorry, guys. I think I'm actually gonna add another one in there to take off some tension. And you know what? Just so that we like kind of already get like a satisfying-ish feel right before. That center is off again, isn't it? God damn it. Cursor to selected. Selection to the cursor. Doobly doopy doo doo. Yeah, there we go. Now we can actually move that inwards again. I mean, I think we can actually, like, if you go into the blockout, we can get rid of this part now. We don't need that anymore. See, and now you actually also get a vehicle that is actually hollow on the inside. Hey, it actually serves its purpose. Like, there's stuff you can do inside. What I mean by that, by the way, with this stupid satirical tone, is that oftentimes, like, I see vehicles and they're just chunks of metal, and people just stick a window on there somewhere and go like, "That's my window," and then you know, makes me tired sometimes. That's all. I'm gonna use a regular window. Gonna use this window. But it needs modification because I need it squared or more square. squarish. Rotate it 90 degrees. Let's just, get the window, the front window on there, and then we can take a break. Then I can take a break. For you guys, normally the show will just continue with like this short in between it. Yeah, I think that's a good scale. Let's go into edit mode. Oh, hold on. I need to actually take all of these parts and make single user out of it, because I don't want to mess up all the windows, And we'll check in just a while, like if it's big enough and everything. My hand is asleep. Is that normal? Is that carpal? Uh-oh. Don't drag me into the tunnel, man. What I'm doing right now is just extracting one edge loop to create a Boolean object out of, so I can actually cut that out of here. Children, huh? Oh yeah, children. And then Alt D that one. Let's just take this and move it outwards even further. I just want to get a proper view right now. And I kind of see if it's going somewhere, Let's add the bevel to that one as well. Move it down as well so that it's on top of the solidify. There you go. That wasn't really working. Yeah, I think that might work. Especially when you start to get like the droopy parts. And then yeah, that's gonna work. All right. So what I'll do is I'm gonna pause the recording, take a quick break, and I'll see you guys. Well, don't even have to mention this. I can just like pop out and back in, change shirt. You know what I mean? Like, don't say anything. Just like change shirt and hairstyles and recording days and whatnot. No, I'll be back in a few minutes. All right, we're back, guys. I had a thought, and I think it's a good one. Don't usually have a lot of good thoughts. No, that's not true, actually. That's not true. So what I was thinking is actually, why not? Let's get rid of all of this. And instead of having like this awkward space to fill, like what if this shell was actually closed? Like it's like this tube. You know what I mean? That it's not this singular unit, but that actually, if we take this entire edge loop and flatten that out, not across the normal, but across the global one, make sure, yeah, and then extrude that. And then let's just see. Yeah, and then we just sort of take almost the same vertice, because apparently Apparently that vertex is not there on the other side, but you know, we can sort of manage. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's the beauty of it as well. Like, don't forget that 3D like kind of invites you to have everything perfect, but actually it really benefits you if things are not that perfect. We need to take this one and make sure that it's on the same level. Because in real life things aren't that perfect. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not too worried about these guys either, you know, just push them back up. That's all. Leave this one, get this one down. Make sure this is straight again, ish. This one can go. And the same goes for this part, you know, like let's make sure this is straight. Or no, I actually like that curve. Let's add an edge loop. That's at the same height. Now let's take these guys. Let's take this one. So right now it's like kind of the same. Yay! Finally. That was actually like a little bit more of a strenuous thing than I thought it would be, but you know, it's what it is. So now, hold on. This is not normal. No. What's going on? Is there there's like a hidden vertex. Let's merge these at center. Try and fix these things, guys. You know, if you see like an anomaly in the mesh, try and figure out where that comes from, because that thing is gonna follow you. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna bump into that constantly, and you're gonna try and fix it with other stuff and cover it. And mind you, though, I think it's especially for me right now, since we're trying to finish this. Let's fill this one, and let's bridge the edge loops. Oh, that was not what I was hoping. Obviously there's like 3,000 more edge loops over here. No, actually it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. Let's add 8 more. 8, and then there's 2 more at the bottom as well. And then I think we've got our shit somewhat covered. Let's see. Let's bridge the edge loops. There you go. Now that's weird as fuck, but nah, I don't think that's important for now. Although, yeah, no, that's not important. I want to bevel this guy though. I add a nice bevel to it. Sorry with the accent, I don't know. See, and then now this thing can sort of be like an armored plate that they kind of bolted onto the front. Because that's how these things go as well, you know, like not everything is built like a tank. Like with that, I don't mean it as the expression built like a tank, but I mean like actually not all of these parts in the real world are built like a tank. Not everything has 3-4 centimeter thick armor to it, you know. And if you want to get the realism right, that's an important factor to play around with. Like, think about how do these things work, you know? Like, you can have this truck and it might as well like initially not even be designed for the military, or it might have like a base version that has military adaptations to it, or there's so many factors that come to play, you know? Why am I struggling with this window? Ah, I think that's it. Let's get rid of this one and let's get children. Someone please think of the children. Is that from The Simpsons? I think so, right? Yeah, I think that's gonna work. Let's check it out. Yes, yes, that's gonna work. See, and then now the nice thing is that we can actually draw in this. Get rid of this one. We can like fit this grill in between this very, very nicely without having it to look like really weird. And you can have this nice ambient occlusion in between. There's some repeating of the texture. Let's see if I apply the scale, what happens. Better. Better. Yeah. All right, it's grill time. I'm not too sure about this either, to be honest. Let's leave it for now. Let's focus on the grill part. Okay, so what I already know is I have these big fat teeth, and I don't want like your typical grill where this is just opening and this is just solid and opening and solid. So I think these are like just reinforcement ribs that are like kind of sitting. They're just like bent metal. And they kind of offer like a certain amount of protection while not being like super heavy duty cast iron. That's something that I want to make sure of, is that like not everything in this kit is super heavy duty cast iron, because that doesn't make any sense. And I'm wondering right now if there should be like a little bulge. You know me, I like bulges. That came out wrong. Or did it? Who knows? I'm just kidding. Let's see how that translates. Oop. Set it to individual origins, and then you can like kind of scale those. Hold on, that's not right. What's happening? What happens when I just do... Just apply the scale, that's all. And like these things are not thick at all, you know what I mean? These are pretty thin, actually. I bet if you would like give them a good swing with a hammer, you could actually dent these. They're not that thin that you can just bend them with your foot. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do it, these bulges, because they kind of break the verticalness, the droopiness. Sorry. Right. Let's start working on the surroundings of this grill. And let's see what I can work with, you know. I have something in mind. I think this could work. And I'm gonna shift D it because I already know it's not gonna stay as it is. Hold on. The stupid coffee mug is blocking my view. Actually, it's not a mug, because I learned that I am irresponsible and that I need a lid when I work near my computer. And normally I would get this whole part upwards, but I think actually for the pulling down effect that we're going for, I think that's actually what we need right now. I think we can get rid of at least this one now. And let's see how we can... Ah, did it? Yeah, of course. Obviously, you know, that selected the entire edge, which is not what we need right now. And it's not mirrored. So we're just going to go ahead and do that. And I'm actually going to get rid of the mirroring geometry, just to keep things logical, you know, to keep it easy. And I also, like, I really tried to make sure that the quad count wasn't absolutely over the top crazy, you know. I just wanted to make sure that the kit is still workable, because you know, when you sometimes, that you guys know, right, you make some stuff in Blender and you're like, hey, this is really cool, and then you start adding stuff on top of it and more and more, and then at some point you're like, well, my computer seems to chug a little bit. And then usually that's just the beginning, you know, like that's right before stuff starts to go to shit. So I'm pretty sure you guys know, right? So I really wanted to avoid that with this. Keep things sensible. This feels as though like is that just me, or is that like a Bob Ross moment? That is a Bob Ross moment, right? If there ever was one. Uh-oh. What's this? I think I messed something up. Let's check that out quickly. An isolated view. Oh, yeah. See, this thing is obviously not solidified. So there's some vertices that need sliding back. Yeah. And then these and these and these as well. And I think there's another one over there. Yeah. Ah. Yeah. Yeah, okay. See, I'm happy that I discover these now, you know, because it can really be so discouraging if you figure stuff like this out later in the process. And then this is weird. This should go. This can go inwards, like this. Let's do isolated view one more time, because I think, yeah, these guys are a little bit weird as well right now. And then I think we're almost back at normal level weirdness, which can be pretty overwhelming already in my case. So yeah, we're getting there. You know, I actually think I might get rid of... Yeah. You know what? I'm just going to do that. I'm going to get rid of the thickness. And then I'm going to add a new solidify modifier to it. There you go. That's better. And we'll wait with that solidify modifier until we're ready for it, basically. Because we are going to flatten this part out. Drag it down for now. Take this part and then drag that down with it. This part needs extending. There you go. This is weird, I know, but that's what you get, you know, when you're working with these kind of stuff, with these kind of kits. Just get rid of the bevel. See, what we'll do right now is just, we're gonna take the long shortcut, you know what I mean? The long shortcut basically means that something feels as though you're taking a slow and lengthy approach, but you're actually saving yourself a lot of time in such a way, you know, because when you take shortcuts, usually you end up just having to correct a lot of shit. And you end up having like a lot of hiccups that you have to overcome. In the end, usually losing more time in the process than you would have if you just take the right approach. So that's why they call it like the long shortcut. Makes sense, doesn't it? Let's just get rid of all of these. Chew. Think we can. Yeah, there you go. And then these. Let's go, guys. The part is over. I actually think I had to wait to do that. Just realized that. Sorry. It's like, what's this one doing here? Okay, let's just merge that one. And I still like this hole. Let's just make it a bit. Yeah, there you go. See, the thing is, like, it might feel right now that details are still very far away, but they're actually not. But this just allows you, you know, to really hammer home all of the nitty-gritty stuff if you just take the time to properly plot out the main parts. And it might, you know, I think in the next couple of weeks we might get to a point where these kind of parts are more readily available, so that will cut down a lot of time. But for now, this is all we got, guys. Yeah, there we go. And I don't know why I'm thinking like, what if these guys stick out? But I don't think that will look cool though. I think we need to actually stick to this. And then we need like an edge loop here, because I'm gonna angle this. Also, it just helps, you know, to just not having to start with an empty plane, if that makes sense. Because that can be so jarring, you know? Merge. Move this inwards. I know there are like quite a lot of practices that go against like the Geneva 3D modeling topology police thing that kind of goes on online, but you know, I don't care. We need to get it out, guys. We need to get it out. And there's also just like a lot of freedom involved if you work in this way, you know, like you kind of really allow yourself to make some room for error along the way. Let's get this bevel right over there. Yeah, I think we're getting there. Get that down a little bit more so that it like kind of matches this angle. And I think it's cool to have like a little bit of a flat part here as well. And I think I want this bumper thing to like kind of hug. Oh, I need to mirror this. Choop. Like I think it could be cool if this bumper part from this part on like kind of hugged over this, so that there's purpose to these parts. You know what I mean? Like they're kind of built for each other, and you can kind of see that they in construction try to get like a good overlap, or just the general making sense of things. The general making senses of things. Should write a book. The general making senses of things is. Who knows? One day. One day. Probably not, though. I mean, come on. I mean, a book about that subject. Might want to write a book someday. Actually, this one has to go. Just realized that because we need a bevel. And I also think we need to recalculate these. There's something wrong over here, you know? This is not right. Mind you though, I think we will need one of these anyways. But this is still, there's something wrong over here. Let's go into isolated view. I wonder if it would help if we just push this backwards, because I think the solidify is like a little bit, yeah, see? It's funny how the solidify modifier sometimes actually acts as it kind of acts like real metal with bent, you know, like it gets these distortions in the corners. I like that. That's a good feature. It's probably not intentional, but who cares? I can feel my ADHD kicking in. Actually, I'm not sure if I actually have ADHD. I think I should get tested at some point. But supposedly that's super mega expensive. Don't know if that's true. Yeah, let's get like a little frame back there. Still have like the classic grill. Think I might get this one. Yeah. Actually, yeah, let's get this one out. The entire one. The only thing is we are not gonna use this gritty thing. Or these fins, I mean. We're gonna get rid of these fins. Because I want mesh in there, like proper mesh. So we're gonna make some mesh, actual physical mesh, if you will. I think we can move this one outwards. See, this is the only part that has to be converted to a single user, because I'm gonna adjust the height of it. But all the rest can just neatly stay as is, which is awesome. See, and that's what I meant with, like, it might feel as though detail is far away, but it's not. Like, it really isn't. Just gonna match that inside. And I'm not even sure if I want it on the outside or the inside. This frame, at least. I think like right on the inside. That's where we need it. right? Like this. It's just because you can kind of see through it because these teeth are so far apart. And that's what I meant with like you want to make sure that you have some sense of layering going on because it's that kind of layering that will really make the scale of your vehicle and like the overall feel of that vehicle feel real. Let's push these outwards as well so you can actually like kind of see them on the inside. You kind of want to have like that idea that there are more stories inside, you know? Because you're still storytelling. I mean, it's a vehicle design, but you're still storytelling. And I think the key is like to really learn how to continue that story just beyond the surface parts. So let's create the mesh. See, I told you, like the detail is not that far away. But you just want to be sensible with the parts that you're using. Apply the scale. Now let's add edge loops in a square fashion. And the same goes for these. Yeah. And then what you want to do is you take the decimate and set it to unsubdivide and then do one iteration. And then if you go into, hold on, let's go into wireframe. See? 0 iterations. This is like where we started from. And if you're going to unsubdivide and you do just one iteration, it kind of creates like this meshy pattern to it. Now I think we need one more. Let's see, like if the scale match. Yeah, this is going to be awesome. That's going to really help to hammer home the scale. And this is also for me the part where I want to like really invest in vertices, you know? I don't want to invest vertices in this because I know what the shape is doing. I know that this is like more area of rest and that's going to hold like a few more tiny details. But right now, this is not what matters. You know what I mean? So this is where I want to have the juice. That sounds weird, right? Because it's like so far deep inside. Can you just use a texture? Probably. But is this going to be more convincing? Definitely. Let's set it to light. I think cast iron light is gonna be the way to go. Let's check this out. Yeah, see? I actually think that these should sacrifice a little bit of depth, which makes him seem bonier. And as far as I'm concerned, that's a win. So that I can take these outwards. And so that you actually get a better view of this grilly thing. And I think, let's see, like how, we can actually thought I corrected this. It's actually in the finished. It's actually in the finished pile, but I stopped correcting halfway. So, fuck. But there you go. There you go. That doesn't matter. That really doesn't matter. Set origin to geometry. I shouldn't have. No, I know how to fix it. Let's apply this first. Set origin to geometry and then mirror it. There you go. There you go. So now we should be able to lessen that thickness. And I like these parts, and I like how they kind of like stick out. So we need to readjust the scale. And I also think we need to scale these down just a little bit. But I kind of like how they pop out, so I'm wondering if we can actually make him stick out in the front. Get this one and this one down. See, and then you kind of have like the layering again. The layering thing that I talked about earlier. And this bumper also, like, obviously it needs closure. But I was actually thinking that it might be cool to not have a bottom frame to it, so that it kind of like really reinforces the droopiness. And then that gets, perhaps like it does have like a bottom end to it, but it's moved backwards and it's darker, you know, so that it kind of looks as though there's no bottom to it. And I think that will really help. I think that will really help to sell this idea, so that they look like droopy teeth, you know, droopy teeth. And what was the expression again? Sorry, like, I know that this microphone picks up a lot of detail, so I'm sorry if it's like a little bit too on the nose. And the thing is right now that I'm not sure if I'm actually sorry or if I just feel as though I should say sorry. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I can actually also picture that these teeth have some kind of a bar behind it. So I'm gonna grab that as well. And I also want to add a little bit of surface detail to it, you know, add some basic hooks. And that's fun, you know, because these parts are ready and you can just grab them. And once they're done, and you can actually like get them from the Blender Asset Manager, they should be already like ready and angled to the normal that you're kind of spawning it to. I know spawning is not the right word, but you can all go to hell. Let's check it out. Yeah, that's kind of working. Let's see if they have to be. I think to sell the idea of a grill. And let's see if we have to darken this as well, because I went for light, but I think I had to go for dark. Or even black. Yeah, I think that's better. But it was more badass with the... Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna work. You know what, I also think that these, especially these, are too big. They don't really like sell. They don't really sell the scale of this grill thing. Oh, that's the wrong side, man. You're at the wrong side, man. And I might even scale these these holes down just a little bit, but not too much. And then I'll have to correct this part later. That was not planned. Like, actually, my plan was to not mess with parts that are not finished yet. Because of this, because of this reason, obviously. But you know, it is what it is. Like, let's scale this one down as well. And I might just run it through the quad remesher in the hopes that it actually fixes all of my problems. You know what? Like, sometimes it actually does. Like, it really just fixes the problem, and it delivers almost like a perfect mesh. And sometimes it messes up pretty badly, so you kind of never know. You kind of never know with the quad remesher. Psh. That's not like a good advertising jingle at all, right? I'm also already thinking about like adding splashes of color later, because that can often like really strengthen a design. And I think I also want to add, I don't know why, it feels as though it needs like a bit of bar. Oops, accidentally pressed the rendered button. How far in are we? Yeah, 40 minutes again. Holy shit. Oh yeah, but I forgot that we actually like corrected this stop part already and everything. So that's actually kind of good. Let's grab some coffee while we're waiting. And I'm gonna try and keep it under like 3 hours. I think that's more than enough, you know. So now Blender's actually crashing. Oh no, it's all right. Good. Good. Is this the thing I'm looking for? I'm not sure. It kind of like what it's doing angle-wise, though. Like it's also drooping down, you know? It's drooping, and I think we need... Oh, why is that over there? I don't know, I feel that we also need like one of these guys or something. And if you guys right now are thinking like, oh, grab this part, man, that's good. That's exactly what I want, you know? And hopefully at some point you get to play around with this as well. Let's get the children involved. And with this, I think, you know, I Alt-D it, but I think I will actually cursor to selected and selection to cursor. I think I'm gonna need to make single user parts out of this, because I have an idea of what to do with it. Now, are these mirrored? Yeah, there's a mirror modifier to them. Yeah, so I am gonna do that. Make it smaller. The thing is, like with these kind of parts, you want to make sure that they sort of have a believable scale to them, you know. because I've seen it so many times where this one has to switch to, yeah. I've seen it so many times where people start adding like detailed parts and they just kind of miss the right scale and then the whole thing is off. And that's super shitty if you think about it as well, you know? So this one needs a mirror modifier apparently. I'm getting annoyed right now, like why do I need a mirror modifier on some? And yeah, let's do it anyways, just for consistency. Cursor, and then I can mirror this one. Yeah, and mirror this one. Select the children. Get rid of the mirror modifier. Apply the rotation and scale, and then do a mirror modifier again. Select all the children, and then now we should be, yeah, there you go. Now we're good to go. And there's a little hiccup in there, but don't you worry, baby. We'll save you. I don't know if I'm gonna keep this here, by the way. Let's move it down for now. Oh! Ho! Does this... This might work. Yeah. Yeah. Let's move this up. I know we... right now, I'm like... not sure about these choices because I kind of went big on like the whole yes, you need to make sure that there are areas of rest, and right now I'm just plunking it all up with detail. Mind you though, I do believe that if we group these details a little bit more in a little bit more of a considerate way, that we actually get away with it. And now I want this part. I already knew that. And I'm gonna modify it, so let's go. Let's drag this circle out of the center of the object because I'm gonna mirror it. And then I'm also going to grab this and then this. Let's start dragging this outwards now. I think it's way too big too. And I think once we have that, that's when you want to introduce a hole. Get rid of some of these edge loops. And then drag these up. See, that's what I mean, like stuff can move relatively quickly right now. And I think that's just a very, very exciting time to start sharing this with you guys. Because there's very few things where I do not have a base for yet. You know, so I can very, very easily start to create new parts and to start mashing things up. And like, will I have to correct some stuff along the way? Yeah, most definitely, but you know, it is what it is. I think the easiest right here, by the way, is to just, instead of trying to correct all of these overlapping vertices, just get rid of them. And then drag it to the mirror modifier once more. Let's see how this works, because it might be too much. Who knows? I think I definitely want to get rid of everything below. So what you want to do is like, don't start filling these manually. Select the entire loop, but deselect this edge so that you have two opposing edges, and then you can say bridge edge loops. I've done that before, but I don't think I actually explained what I did. Get rid of this one. Get rid of this. And now it's squads again. Might be wonky on the bottom. That's what she said. Let's check it out. I like how she's sitting over there. It looks like she's like very judgmentally reading something in a newspaper. She's like, oh. No? Is that just me? That could be the case. Could be just me. And I wonder if I need to bring this one out. This one back out. I think so, actually. Yeah. All right. Just for shits and giggles, let's start to already focus on a different part of the vehicle as well. Although, yeah, let me just add some easy detail. Because I've got some, I think, pretty cool bar structures that I already built, like this one. And I think I can alt. Yeah, there we go. See, because the idea is that I basically want to have a lot of downward facing elements to this, which could mean that instead of having these to sort of just be connected with a frame that closes up, I am gonna make sure that these bars run further down than this horizontal mount that we're gonna make. Does that make sense? So that it actually sticks out down even further than you would expect it to, you know, to again reinforce that idea of the droopy face melting idea. And there is a shit shader in here. That is the old no edge wear. Hold on, let's look for def. That should be better, yeah. I'm not too sure about this one though. I don't think I'm gonna keep it. And this one as well, it has like the... Oh no, hold on, I think that's actually fine. But this might fit underneath or something, or... Yeah, that kind of, that will work. That will work. So hold on, how does that actually look when it's angled properly to the surface of this thing like this? Yeah. Not too sure about these plates. But that happens in this process, you know? That's how this goes. And I think this also distracts from that downwards idea. Let's just see whatever I have. What are these doing here? Oh, right. Yeah, I don't need these right now. I'm just checking out what could fit over there. Meshy parts. And you guys might already have an idea right now, which I would actually like. You know, that's what I really want. I think we can actually get away with just using one of these. I think, yeah. You know what? Let's just. I think I should have a smaller version of this around somewhere as well. But I can make that, can I? So let's select the children. And let's alt-D it first, because just like one of the previous ones, you know, I will probably be okay with only making single user of the plate and not of the other parts. And I think I'm gonna also change up this detail, because I'm scaling it down, which also means that this part, which is already over here, gets repeated but in a smaller size, and that sort of breaks the illusion. That's something you want to look out for when you're kit bashing, because that stuff can like really mess with with the perception of the scaling. Mind you, though, these ribs do the same, kind of do the same thing, so they should actually stay at this size. I'm not sure if this is the part I need. Let's go back. Let's go back. Because I kind of like, I think I want to add like a vertical detail. This is too much though, like this. Hold on though. Is it? Is it too much though? Well, the entire part is, but I mean just this thing. How far in are we? An hour. Yeah, that's fine. We're making good progress. No, I'm not gonna grab this. I'm just gonna build something sturdy-ish looking, mounted on top of it. Or is this? Yeah, I think I can actually use this now. Because I've liked this part ever since I built it, but I haven't like properly used it. It's stuck underneath the other truck guy, like the grenade bumper guy, but it's like really tucked underneath, so it's not actually that visible. And then this way, this part also has like this downward facing trend to it, you know? And it can be mounted like on the front. I think this kind of like an awkward scale to it. Although, no, I think it's fine actually. But is this what I wanted? Does this have the look that I wanted? I'm gonna add some stuff to the roof as well, you know, so I don't want to just get lost and just fixing the bumper now. Yeah, I kind of think that works for now. Although what I can do is, yeah, that's what needs to happen actually. Like, let's get this. Because that was too big, you know? And then now this thing and this thing have to move forward. And I'm not sure how this actually translates to the rest. And I'm kind of sad that the idea of this little rectangular bumper thing, but it shouldn't. Should we drop it? No. No, I don't think we should. Nah, we shouldn't. Right, let's start thinking about what to do with these areas, you know? Because I can see some cool surface details in some of these. And I have some stuff to work with. And we need extra antennas too, by the way, guys. Like, we seriously need more antennas. So I think I'm actually going to see if I can devote some dedicated antenna time. Dedicated antenna time. Also, I haven't used this, and I really like this. So I know that's not the reason usually to use a part, but I think in some cases, in very few cases, you can. You totally can. But it shouldn't be too random though. Like, that's something I really want to watch out for, because I don't like that. You guys know that, right? Don't like it when stuff gets too random. I actually, like, I kind of feel... Is this part corrected? Oh, yeah. Yeah. You know why? Because I quad remeshed the shit out of it. Which is totally fine. You can, you know? Actually, you should. Obviously, like, they don't have... They it's not that they do not have to be connected. They can't be connected. So I think I'm gonna have to make single user out of it. See, now this, I like this, because actually now I'm getting a sense of what's missing from this pack versus like just being like, oh, look at all of these cool parts, and then not actually having any idea what still needs to come or what's really missing, or, you know, it's, this is where I draw the line. We're in like an hour, and I think we made great progress in that hour. And the thing is that it's only going to get better now, you know? I'm wondering... Origin to geometry. I think we should be able to mirror this, but just make sure that it doesn't like fall into a hole. And let's see if I can actually... Yeah. I think this is a great place to mirror. Yes. There we go. That's what I mean. This is like a proper new part. Easy, but proper. Like, it's not... It doesn't feel like a stupid kit bash part, you know? Or at least that's what I think. You guys can fight me on that. But you know what? I am... If you really want to get personal, like, this is the first time in my life ever where I am learning to actually be certain of things that I like or want. You know what I mean? Does that resonate with you guys, where you're like kind of, I don't know, like, I don't want to be like super psychological and everything, and I'm not going to dig too deep right now. But like, where you kind of feel as though, or you act as though your own judgment is not that good, and you almost assume that somebody else's judgment will definitely be better. And now, while obviously for some people that's the whole problem, That's not the kind of people I'm talking to right now. You know, like the people I'm talking to, you know who you are, right? And that's just very, you know, that feels good. Finally learning how to, basically, how to trust yourself, you know, trust your own judgment. And that does not mean that you have to sort of get into this attitude where you think like that every single decision that you make is the shit. That's not what I'm getting at all. Because that just like turns you into an asshole, right? That's not what I mean. These can go. That's definitely not what I mean. But that does mean that at a certain point you can sort of like let go and say, okay, I think this is best. And maybe that's right. Oh, hold on. Am I? No, the original is fine. That's good. I like kind of want to make it fit into this hole that I stretched. I swear to God, guys, I don't do that on purpose. But it might be like this subconscious thing. So I'm like sort of sorry, I think. I think what I'm feeling right now is I think what I'm feeling right now is like morally knowing that I should be sorry, but I'm not. I know there's still some overlap to it, but I'm not sure if that's that important right now or if I should just focus on getting this roof mount working. Like right now in my head, let's parent that to this. No, let's do it the other way around. Let's parent this to the big one. That's way easier to select. So let's select the children. I wonder if this should be mirrored. I think the attachment unit, yes, but whatever goes on top, no. That's like my short answer to this question. I would love to also think about the door since we got an hour left. But the thing is, like, once you start noodling with that kind of geometry, like, it can get very lengthy very quickly, and I tend to drift away as well a lot more while talking whilst working on stuff like that. So, um, yeah. Oh, hold on. I think I know. But where is him? Where is this guy? I think I need to go back into one of the old files. Like probably like over here. Let's check out where we're at. Guys, let's check out. And we can continue this next week as well. Or we'll see how this fits, you know? Or I might finish that and record a time lapse, or we might be able to like actually pretty much finish it. Ooh, this is a good one, right? Children. I know I can just snap this one in, but sometimes it's just fun to fly around Blender, you know? Have a short vacation. Oh, I just realized that my microphone might be a little bit far away. I think you could hear me properly, but the sound quality. Why not like make sure that gravity actually works? Have it off center. Or perhaps a bit smaller too. That's what I mean with the scale thing, right? Let's see. And let's grab some coffee in the meantime. If you guys are interested in ASMR sessions, let me know. I'm sure you're not, but you know, there might be like a crazy person that's willing to pay. Did I guys just invite you like for me to make like a kind of like a porn version thing? I'm not gonna do that, by the way. I think this is starting to look pretty cool. So I have an emergency light somewhere. But where is it? Because I broke it down already. Because I know that this circular guy is a byproduct of that little lamp. Do I actually need to pull that in? I thought I fixed it. Huh. Yeah, don't worry. We'll pull that in from a different file. See, that's what happens when you're working with so many parts. This is one of the old ones. I went back too far, way too far. Which version was that? 13. Let's go to like 20. I'm kind of embarrassed right now that I lost an entire asset. But it is what it is, guys. It is what it is. I would actually also like to add like a bigger light to it or something, you know, like we have this one. I think I can actually do something with this. Let's go. Let's take the children. Ah, hold on. This is the main object. Let's take the children and the main object. Let's alt D it outside of perception. Don't need this one. And I think I'm gonna do a vertical flip so that it's actually like upright. And because I kind of want to keep like the square-ish shape language that we already had. And then I need like a little roof thingy like this, but not as pompous. If that makes sense. And we don't really, I have it over here. It's just still connected to other parts. Oh, but hold on, I think I might have an idea to create like a larger type of asset. Let's see how that works if I just get this and repair and keep. Because that's the thing too, like obviously I'm curious about how I can compound stuff that I already built. I'm wondering if I can do like something where this light fits in, but I think the light should be smaller in that case. Where it can be like this signaling light, you know what I mean? Like there's... Oh, hold on. What was that? Hold on. We keep it inside. Like this, and then, yes, I know what we need. We need this guy, which has some fins in there. So it is like a signaling light. It actually is a signaling light in this case. Sorry, guys. But not like, no, not like this. I think. Oh, I have an idea. Instead of like trying to tuck everything away, like what if like it's actually sitting in front so that this thing actually, hold on, let me check something quickly. Oh no, we're good. Yeah. Let's turn this around. That's no. Hmm. That's kind of silly. God damn it, me and my converging shapes. So now hold on, a different plan. Let's move this up a little more. And then let's take, I've made like some complexer moving parts the other day. And I think we could do something with this and this. So let's isolate them. Sorry with all the accents, guys. I really have to get back into this process of recording stuff. Because it kind of gets you in a slightly different mindset than you would be if nothing was recording at all. And especially since it's real time, you know. Let's open these up and let's get these down like this. And then perhaps we can have, it's just indication, you know. I don't want this mechanism to actually work. I just like kind of want to indicate that there's something happening with this, you know. Perhaps with, oh, I know. So I can imagine like if you want to use this to send out like Morse code or something, like I can totally picture that you want to have like fast open and closure, right? Like you don't want a sloppy metal vent that opens and closes. You kind of want to make sure that it happens swiftly, right? So I'm thinking, what if we introduce a spring? Because I made a spring. I'm actually really proud of my spring as well. So that this like kind of indicates the mechanism behind it. We don't have to build that out. If the prop would be like giant, then yes, we would probably want to build that out correctly. But for now, nah. Where is my spring? Yeah, I'll just grab it from this one. Because it used to be over here. I need to keep a better eye on what I do with my parts, guys. Like seriously. Oh, no, I know what I did. I think I moved, yeah, because it's kind of more mechanical. More mechanical than you would expect, so from a thing like this. So I'm just wondering, like, what if the actual working mechanism was inside, so we don't have to over-explain ourselves. Thank God. How far in are we? An hour and 16 minutes. I think we can actually get pretty far with this. I'm also wondering if this entire unit should be tucked away underneath in a way. So I can imagine, like, if you want to send out Morse code, that you want to make sure that these fins open quickly and open and close quickly again. So I think in that light, get it? In that light? Because it's a light. You want to make sure that they open quickly, okay? And that, I don't know, I have like the idea that it can sort of pivot. Don't even know if that's necessary or not. Let's make single user out of this, because I actually want it to look more delicate and then have it to be, and I don't want to get lost in this part as well. In this, I mean not with this part as in this part of the process, but I actually mean like literally this part. I need a small rod, a regular one. Oh, hold on. Actually, I can just reuse this. I think the thickness is fine. I think like we mainly need some sort of cap because these holes are pretty big. And then we can start parenting. Yeah, I kind of like this. I think, you know what? I think it also makes sense because it's further away. It's further away from the opening, you know, and then the beam of light opens up, so the angle gets a little larger. I think it actually makes sense to sort of have it in such a way. Yeah, there you go. That still doesn't explain how this thing actually works, but I'm confident that something like this probably exists. Or, no, I know, this is something that I wanted to try for a long fucking time, which is like splashes of color. I've been really waiting to add some more color to this. So I think what we can do, like this can be some kind of signaling, light signaling thing, you know? But we'll come back to that. Yeah, let's come back to that at just like a little bit of a later time, because I'm getting sidetracked. Aha! I'm getting sidetracked. That's what's happening. That's something I need to look out for. You people who know me longer than this video, you guys know, right? So I'm gonna fit that onto the vehicle and see if this even works. Obviously this is too big. And perhaps I want to rotate this so that, then that's the reason for this brackety thing having a hinge, is so that you can actually align it. Have the bolts to be bigger. Yeah, I think this is actually pretty cool. Center it like a little bit more. You can see that it's there to do something, and I like that. It's there to do something, guys. You need to correct me on this because I am starting to blabber. But I like it. I think this is too high. I think this should be definitely lower, and it's too big as well. So I think like having it to be smaller and sort of gap underneath, and then get lower. I think that's sort of like the thing we're going for. Like proportions have to be adjusted, or this thing might go all together. I'm not entirely sure. Mind you though, since it's smaller now, I can actually rotate that forward. And it should absolutely be higher, more in the front. Perhaps even to, yeah, yes, yes, it's alive. But now this spring is starting to look weird, so I think yeah, I think that's cool. The thing is, like, if you have a spring somewhere, usually that kind of dictates like some complexity of movement. And what I don't like about that is that that also means that you probably have to explain yourself pretty well, unless you hide that shit away. And that's exactly what we're doing. So I kind of like this. Like it looks as though you're trying to signal something with this lamp, you know. So we have like half an hour left. So I think what I'll do is start thinking about the side door and perhaps like a little side window. I like this light. It's too bad that you can't actually see the light inside all that well. But what if you doesn't make sense though why you have this giant. No, that doesn't matter all that much actually. Like I know how to fix that. I'll come back to this in a later at a later point. Make this single user. Because I think that that light actually needs to fit in there. And I think there's gonna be like some kind of a, you know how you have these old cinema things, you know, where you have like the spinning drawing. I think it's gonna be like something similar, where there's like a spinning unit and it generates like some form of communication. Yeah, I think that's gonna be the way to go with this. And that will explain why you would have such a large enclosure on top of this. Yeah, but that's not, we're not gonna finish that right now. We're gonna try and make some sense of the door, the front door. And I think that front door, yeah, and the other one should move backwards, the second chauffeur. Yeah. Which kind of means I think the front door will be right there, but you also want to have a front window. So what I'm thinking is, let's add an edge loop. And let's see if we can flatten out this edge loop vertically. Apparently not. Wow, that like went pretty extreme, huh? Like, let's flatten out as much as possible. And then I'm wondering if we can do like a simple exercise where I get rid of this part. Because like I want to be as economical about this as possible, you know, because obviously it would be cool to custom, like entirely custom build one of these parts. But I think it's much more realistic to approach it this way. So I'm thinking like, let's fill these up. You know the drill by now. Let's get rid of these. I just did one to try out and see how that works out. Bridge edge loops. Recalculate. Whoa! Wow, that was a shit show. Let's do it with the bridging. Bridge, that's better. And then obviously this one has to be closed inside. I think, at least. Yeah, see, that's not closed yet. There's something weird going on, guys, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. See, what I'm gonna do is, let me just isolate this now first. And then turn off the solidify and turn off the bevel so that we actually get a proper look at what the mesh is doing over here. Yeah, okay, I get it. I get it. I selected the wrong edge. Bridge the edge loops. Yeah, okay. Okay, that, I think that can actually go pretty smoothly. So we've got 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So, and oh yeah, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. God damn it. I think I miscalculated, didn't I? Get 1 and 2 and then 1, 2, 3. Ah, yeah, I get it. I get it. That's because, oh yeah, you just need 3 and then you have quads. I just know that some of you guys will probably have already figured that out while watching this. You go like, why doesn't he just make 3? He just needs to make a quad out of it. I just know. That's okay. But this will give us like a nice flat start to start adding other detail again and to cut out some doors and everything. So the thing is, like, I just tested that out with a small part, but now that I basically know that it works, I can start doing the rest. See, this is not fun. Like, this is not fun. The fun side of things. Like, we just had some fun with a bunch of parts, but now the fun is over. It's like we're going German mode. The fun is over. Sorry, guys. I don't know why I said that. Yannick, if you're listening, I'm sorry, man. Please don't send your official complaint. The thing is, I know that I should be able to just copy these, but I think it's easier to just do it like this. As to not confuse myself too much. And we'll see like how wonky stuff gets. Hopefully not too wonky. What time are we? An hour and 30 minutes. So yeah, no, that's actually not bad. Not bad at all. But mind you though, this is like the consuming stuff, you know? This is not... I can't do this an entire day. Like this drains me out pretty quickly. But the thing is, like, what you probably wouldn't expect from a design like this, or from like a process like this, is that the manual aspect of it actually adds to the character of the design. Because usually a lot of these things, they're not made like in a vacuum by a robot, or like there's a lot of man-made aspects to it still, even though it gets pushed out by a machine, and there's imperfections and damages, and there's twisting and whatnot, all sorts of stuff that happens to it. And very often, like by adding stuff like this manually, you actually kind of help that process along the way to make stuff not look as perfect. I just realized that I could get rid of all of these edge loops. Okay, okay, let's just do that then. For now, at least, you know, we can re-add them if necessary at the end, but I don't think so, actually. Bridge the edge loops. We're almost there, actually. That's pretty okay. Pretty okay. And also, like, I really want to be careful with like the 45-degree angle sci-fi truck thing. Now, that can definitely work, and I mean, like, I've even did that with the doors on the previous truck, but at some point I also want to just add like that straight world, that real world straight realism, you know? I mean, technically these are all quads. But the question is this enough space? Let's see how it works with the Babylon. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. You can see that. Yeah. So, but hold on. Yeah, we actually need this because there's a little curve. And you can fight me on that as well, but I think that adds a lot of realism. Let's just see if we can get rid of these. And these. And these. I think I've got a plan. What I think I can do is to sort of do this, and then merge these at the center. Et voilà. Can already do that, like merge at center, merge down, merge down. See, and that will sort of create like this new spot, and that will not drag on all of these vertices for like no reason. And that will also allow us to smaller this frame and add some more detail inside, and it just leaves a lot of room to play around with stuff again. And then you can add, if you want, you know, add these edge loops again, like this. And then we already know this one goes here, this one goes here, and this one goes up. Add J. So I'm already gonna address this just so you guys know, like this is again a learning process for me to start documenting this again. So I'm not sure right now, for instance, like am I gonna continue working on this cockpit behind the scenes or not? Like, and do you guys actually want to see it finished in video format as well, or are you like, yeah, we kind of get like the process, can you please record a different thing? Let me know. I am really curious actually how you guys perceive this, because for me, like the main thing is I want you to learn from this, and I want to have tons of fun building. But that's already the case, actually. I hope you guys noticed that. This is like, I would be doing this stuff either way. Like, if I'm not recording it, and I would have very similar conversations in my head about the things I'm working on. So right now, I think we should be able to just... Why are these not selecting? I think are there like hidden vertices? No. Oh, hold on. I think actually, what if I do another inset, and then that actually like becomes the controlling panel? Yeah. Let's see how that works, or if it looks awkward. I just also realized that I did not save this in a different... So if it doesn't work, we're fucked. So we'll have to make this work. Although we're not that fucked, I can just delete this and then re-extrude, and then we lose this hole. But I don't think you guys are that fond of the hole, are you? But don't fear, I think. No fear? Isn't that like clothing from like the early 2000s? The no fear thing. See, like I want to have... This is something I need to look out for, because like I want to have beveled edges like this. But that kind of messes with the topology. So my brain is already like trying to avoid that kind of topology. How does that work? And I might need to drop this part significantly to actually like, because the doors are at a silly height right now actually. But oh yeah, perhaps when I do this I need to do both sides, shouldn't I? Yeah, I actually like that. I actually like that. The fake Australian accent. If there are any Australians watching, like, I already excuse myself. That actually would be pretty cool though. Like, I don't know. Are there? Is Australia in the house? And then you have like a bunch of confused Austrians who are like, yeah, we are here. I really hope that I don't get into trouble for saying stuff like this. Also thinking of breaking this line in order to create some space for a little footrest to climb in. I think I'm gonna do it like this. And I go straight down, like. I'll have to correct this part anyways. I think I need to let that go, is whenever I am working on a part to this degree, I need to let go of the idea that I'm gonna save all the topology on the fly. And I think that's perfectly okay actually. Because usually, like, when you add a beveled edge like this and you want to correct that topology-wise, that usually just means that you will have to like redirect those loops to sort of exit the geometry so that they don't continue like all the way through. There you go. And this is a good part also to sort of get an idea of the fittedness of this, the thickness of this part and like how it fits in, you know. Fittedness is not a word, I think. And the only thing I'm wondering right now is, for beauty purposes, do I need to make sure that this is aligned properly with the rest or not? So that it's aligned with the top of this window. I think so, actually. Whoa. Oh. Oops. I'm getting obnoxious. And that means, usually that means that it's about over for me. So we are in like an hour and 45 minutes. That is awesome. I think we did a great job. I say we, like, as if you guys are responsible for the shit I'm trying to sell over here. Yeah, I'm gonna be able to extract 2 doors from this. And I kind of like this because this also suggests that what I could do is take this, P, not P on it, but separate it, P, and sort of sell that also as like a separate part to this thing, you know. This thickness is way over the top. Don't push it inwards too much, but that adds realism, you know. That means that door element now all of a sudden was like built by I'm not saying a separate company, but perhaps like it was built by at least like a different, I don't know, like a different branch in the same factory or something like that does not come from the same parts. And I've just noticed like if you pay attention to stuff like that, usually that pays off. I'm thinking if we can still extend this unit forward so we can actually have like a little forward facing. So we can still add like a little forward facing window to this part. I'm sorry, not forward facing. I mean as in a side facing tiny window. And I actually think we can, which is awesome. And I think for the side windows, I am also going to use this, but perhaps not with that little visory thing on top. So, and you'll have two doors. Or you'll have like one door, but yeah, I think that kind of works out better. Does it though? Yeah, at this point I'm not sure about this door thing, guys. I'm having second doubts. Now it does help to already get like an idea of, in this case, adding these extra windows. For now, let's just add two. I was actually thinking of having two doors and a tiny window in the front. Let's see how that looks. Pretty cool, I think. How's the overhang? Is that not like... No, that still works, doesn't it? Yeah, that still works. All right, I'm gonna finish off with... We have like 10 minutes left, right? Let's finish with something cool. Because we did like the droopy parts. Like I want to add... I already know like what I want. And for what I want, I will need to build something that I haven't done just yet in this kit, but which is relatively easy. We need to have some chains. And I am like a firm believer, if you're doing concept art chains and you want precision, just do it by hand. Okay? Don't start noodling with like some kind of like a chain add-on and then it doesn't really give you the result you want. And just do like a curve extract, because I think this is it. Like the chain thing will help to sell the idea that we have, right? Convert back to mesh. Shade smooth. Let's put it to like extra wear. See, what I'm trying to avoid when doing chains is like this perfect repetition of things, you know? Like you kind of want it to not be perfect in something like this. That's what adds like the proper character to it, you know? Not like this machine-like structure. Yeah. So I also want to have like this mind deflecting thing. And I'm thinking like this could be a cool... Are we doing it manually? I'm going to start out with a... Yeah, F it. Let's just do a sphere, but have 16. No, I think I need like 12, 12. That's too much. Yeah, I think this... Oh, I think like 15 was about right. 16. Yeah. No, let's keep it at 16. That's fine. You also don't want to have it to be like too low poly, you know? You don't want PlayStation 1, the PlayStation 1 look, right? You guys know what I mean. Thinking like this could be like super heavy cast iron balls. Plunk! You know what I mean? Like when it hits a mine, hardly budges at all. I like that. That kaplunk. And so what we need now basically are two booleans, and then that part is pretty much done, and I'm just gonna remesh it. I don't even think with quad remesher, but I think with the actual remesh modifier, because there's some huge benefits you get from a remesh modifier when stuff needs to look gritty and not too perfect in shape, which is like that's ironic because that's very hard to model, and the remesh modifier, it basically fucks up your shape, but in a good way if you need that shape not to be perfect. Does that make sense? So what we'll do in that case is take this, add a new boolean to it. So I think that hole has to be a little further down, and then like this. And then maybe it kind of makes sense if you would have like a little bit of a curve to that as well. Ready to wrap up. Yeah, let's convert that back to mesh so it applies all the booleans. Huh? Well, that's normally what should happen. Convert to mesh. Yeah, there you go. See, and then now let's give it like the remesh modifier. See what this does, guys. Like it basically creates quads without having like an edge flow to it, which also means it should be bigger, right? Which also means that like it breaks a lot of detail. But that actually works, you know, convert it back to mesh and then shade smooth, and then this bumpiness will add a lot of character to it. Let's give it the extra wear. And so now what I can do is I still need to think about like where this attaches for the actual kit. But now at this point I am just wanting to get the main character out, you know. And then so later I can worry about the technological aspects and everything, and making sure that there's like a hook underneath. And I think it's also important that these are not perfectly at the same height. Shouldn't be too wonky either, but definitely like not too precise. I felt like we lost this cap thing, didn't we? Somewhere along the way. All right, let's put these on. No, let's give him the no edge wear one for now. See, that's what I mean. And then just to top things off, because I feel there's a volume missing to this vehicle, and it actually might not feel that important to what we're doing right now, but it kind of is, and that's like there's no bottom to these parts, and the bottom will be colored black, as in some of these reference examples. But that will add a lot of visual mass to to the silhouette, and I think like I need to just add that for this face. Have like a nice black shader on it and a little bit of a bevel, and this will also invite me to start thinking about more future parts that are missing and that I need and that you guys can use. And so now it's just like a black box that is obviously not what it will end up looking like in the final version. But at least like there's something there, you know. Sometimes that's enough. Sometimes that's enough. See, that will sort of be like the underbelly of the vehicle. That will sort of be like tucked away underneath. Sometimes it's like these kind of things that you need to be aware of, because like things might not be working and you're like, what the hell is going on? It's like check the main shapes, man. So often it's just a matter of correcting the main shapes. So I was actually hoping to finish this cockpit in 3 hours, but also I'm pretty batshit insane at some points, and I'm also getting pretty tired now. So that's not for now. Yeah. Yeah, let's wrap things up for now. Let's leave it at this. I really hope you guys enjoyed this first comeback to Patreon. Like it's gonna take some time to get back into things, because I felt pretty rusty at some point. At some points, I hope you guys didn't notice that all that much. But hey ho, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys next week. All right. Cheers.